The best deck of all time is back, thanks to Dice Rally, one of the best events of all time. Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we're taking a look at Tearlament, within Dice Rally. Now here's the thing, Tearlament is like 4 cards right now. As you can see, none of this is Tearlament. There are like 4 Tearlament cards. However, you still technically can play some version of Tearlament focusing on the Tearlament monsters, and I decided to play it because I thought it would be funny. Yeah, obviously, with 1 Rhinoheart, 1 Sheeran, 1 Havness, and 1 SnowiKs, there's not a whole lot that this deck can do, especially without the Shufflers to put back the additional names that can actually fusion summon. Sometimes you just kind of get clogged. That being said, this deck is still very funny, and I actually have a duel that I want to show you. This is basically just an excuse to show you the duel, but also Tearlament. It's one of the best decks of all time, and being able to play it once again in Dice Rally and do even remotely good is kind of fun. So, there you go. Alright, here we are going first, and I have Prime Material Dragon on my side of the field. Let's see what we can accomplish with it. We also drew Engraver, because of course we did. We're going to start off here with Scream, and then we're going to normal summon Mare, which is going to give us access to the Send of Havness. Havness is going to go into the Kitkalos, and Scream are going to trigger. We're going to send a few cards to the yard. Out comes the Rhinoheart, which we just happen to mill, and of course we have the Sheeran as well. So we're going to fusion summon it. We're also going to send the Havness to the graveyard so that we can use it, basically. To be fair, I actually think even just activating the Rhinoheart was a mistake on my part, but it's fine. Anyway, we do end up going up for the Engraver here, and we're going to go for the Pilgrim Reaper, and then activate to the effect of the Tracks to grab Lurie. Lurie effect is going to activate. We're going to Reborn here, and then go into the Requiem. Requiem is going to be used in order to go into our Lacrima. Here we're going to mill, just see what they're on. It's always nice to just mill and see what they're on. It's Hero. And of course I hit a card that actually does something for them as well. Anyway, we're going to make Doug here. Doug effect is going to activate, and we're going to draw some cards. Sure, fantastic. This is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to put some cards in the yard for, of course, Zombie Vampire with the Horus cards. We also Reborn here with the Druid Worm, and then we're going to go into the Dark, because now I hit the Malicious, so I can Reborn here. And we're going to search out the Happy, and then just put it right back. That was just a mistake. I just misclicked. And then we'll make Abomination and set a card and pass the turn. Now, notably, Abomination during the end phase can pop Mask Change. Why am I playing Abomination? Because when I made this deck, I originally had a Link 3 on my field. I don't have it anymore, but I don't know. I didn't really think of anything that I could make as a Link 4, so I don't know. A-Bomb. It's not like I could make I don't know. I guess I could have made like Avramax, potentially. Cool. Well, we're going to trigger Scream here. As our opponent goes for Stratos. We mill some stuff. Actually, we hit 2 really important cards here, because both of them will add a card to our hand that we can use later. So, keep that in mind. We're going to add Meta Noise, which will be used for a specific activation later. And Crime. The Crime is simply in here to be discarded for a Super Polymerization. I'm also going to Reborn the Requiem here. At this point, our opponent is going to go through the motions, going into all of their hero stuff, because hero is allowed to do whatever they want, whereas everyone else has to have everything limited. And I'll explain what I mean about that in a second. You'll see it here. Yeah, why is Plasma allowed? Like, no one else is allowed to play, like, Skill Drain. That card's banned. But Hero gets to play the one-sided one? That's searchable? That seems reasonable. Huh? It's because it's a trap card. We all know it's because it's a trap card. Anyway, as my opponent reveals that they also have another Mask Change in their hand, we end up going for, we add back the Havness off of the Meta Noise, because we negated the Super Poly, and if you don't know, Rukalos does have the ability to send cards from anywhere, any just tier card in general. Normally you would send itself so that it reborns itself. However, we don't need to do that here. We can actually send Meta Noise, which then adds the Havness back, which means we can use it later, which is great. We could even use it now. Anyway, our opponent's going to go for the Wonder Driver here. They are going to then activate the second Polymerization, because why wouldn't they have the second Polymerization? Cool. Anyway, they're going to trigger a whole bunch of effects here. Of course, resetting the Mask Change off of the Wonder Driver, and then they drew into the Droplet, which is very funny, because Hero players not drawing Droplet is an impossibility. Of course they drew Droplet. Why wouldn't they draw Droplet? They're going to go to combat here. They're going to walk over the guy, and I'm going to activate the A-Bomb, popping their polymerization that they had set, and they're going to walk over a few additional guys. However, for some reason, I guess they just forgot. Ab-Zero has less attack than Garura. I think they saw that Ab-Zero had 2,500, 2,500 attack, and then didn't think that Rukalos it was a water monster, because, yeah, Rukalos is a water monster, so it was boosting by Ab-Zero. Anyway, during the end phase, we just pop their guy, so now they don't have anything, except for the fact that they do, because out comes Acid, which means that the entire field is about to go away for us. There goes the spells, there goes the monsters. However, Havness triggers because they chained this wrong. Had they chained this the other way, except they can't. Maybe they can. No, they should be able to. Yeah, they could have chained this differently. In the sense that they could have chained Acid as Chainlink 2, and then I wouldn't have been able to summon the Havness, and wouldn't have been able to trigger its effect. Now, would that matter? Yes, it absolutely would. Because now I can just kill them with Kaleido Heart. And we also search SnowiK. So, good game, hero player. We even played through Macro. Hilarious. But there you go, Tearlament. Alright, we're back with the deck, and honestly, this deck is goofy. It's silly. Because it's basically not Tearlament. I mean, how much of this is actually tier? That being said, it is always nice to play some of these older decks. We even had a really solid duel that now I can't access because Konami has decided to nuke replays with, I don't know, the stiffest of breezes for some reason. Yeah, now I can't access the replay. But I played a really cool game with Tri-Brigade, which was awesome. So if you want to go check that out, go check out the second channel where I stream all of my Yu-Gi-Oh! I couldn't figure out what this was called. Anyway, Tearlament. Hilarious. That's all. I got nothing else for you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.